Today is Society Shame. This is Society Shame. Live broadcast. Society Shame. Follow us on Anchor FM. This is April the 23rd, 2020. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. Do you know where your kids are? Mine is grown. I ain't worried about them. Today's Thursday. It's Throwback Thursday. And we're going to throw shit back. And I don't know how far you want to go back, but the topics here are Throwback Thursday, and this is about politics. We're going to throw back. The conversation today was Brandon Scott. If you go on Fox 45, Brandon Scott is a hot topic. So let's go Throwback Thursdays for Brandon Scott. Brandon Scott came on the political scene under Governor O'Malley's tutelage. He came up under Governor O'Malley's presentation. All right, Governor O'Malley created a mom machine. We're going to throw back Thursday. Governor O'Malley created a mom machine, and he needed black people in it. And government consists of judges, lawyers, politicians, police officers, relationships that he built through coercion and corruption. Throwback Thursday. Throw a dog a bone. We went all of this. Hassan Giordano, Ivan Bates, Kelly Davis. I don't want y'all mad. Keith Davis. I'm fighting for all the inmates that's locked up. And Brandon Scott plays a part in that because he's part of Governor O'Malley's mom machine. Governor O'Malley's mom machine is incarceration. They make a lot of money off of the prison. Lawyers get paid to defend clients. Judges get paid to lock them up. And the state get paid regardless. It's like playing cards with three friends and a stranger. Yeah, it's like playing cards with three friends and a stranger. And that's not a good game to play. Blacks and Hispanics and poor whites are the victims of this game. Dollars off of this. Peter Francott made millions of dollars off this. Judge Janae, Judge Papaya, and Brandon Scott is facilitating with his votes that he gives in city council. If y'all remember Brandon Scott, Throwback Thursday, remember Brandon Scott, Throwback Thursday? He is also intimidating Black Baltimore. Brandon Scott is a youthful politician, so they're using his youthful votes. Scott ain't nothing but a throwback of the old machine. He's Governor O'Malley's puppet. And he can't tell you that he ain't. When he ran for governor, you can go to the Irish, you can go to the Masons, and you from Chicago. So I know what the Irish Daley created. And Governor O'Malley is Mayor Daley's creation. New York, Chicago, and Baltimore is tied to the Irish Mafia. Throwback Thursday. There was a guy named Fluky Stokes. If anybody know Fluky Stokes, Fluky Stokes was a gangster in Chicago. He was the only real gangster in Chicago. I can't say real gangster, but he was the only gangster in Chicago that was made by the Mafia. Mafia let that black man in. The Irish Mafia up in Chicago, the Jewish Mafia, and the Italians all like that black man. All right, this Throwback Thursday. So throwback to the thing at hand. Fluky Stokes was an influential, and he was very flamboyant. He was my mentor. I like Fluky. They killed Fluky such a way, and Fluky buried his son in a gold Cadillac. Google Fluky. I learned a lot of my hustling from Chicago, up in Jewtown, up on Halstead, Madison, before they shut Jewtown down in the University of Chicago property. I used to go up there every Sunday to learn how to make money. Throwback Thursday, the roots of Shorty. Years old is illegal now. Legal in Chicago. It's in Maryland. And Throwback Keep going to this. I just keep losing my live feeds. I want to say Society saying I Society shame. So we're gonna start the podcast over 23rd at 8:04 a.m. This is on Anchor Broadcast. I gotta redo my Anchor. This is Society shame, and we are talking about Brandon Scott today. Throwback Thursday. We talking about Judge O'Malley, Caitlin O'Malley. See, Judge O'Malley, like we say, Renters Corp make a lot of money. It generates money for the state, and it makes a lot of money for landlords because Governor O'Malley has a relationship. So does Brandon Scott, and that court dollars a year. I turned in Lockwood Apartments in 2011. Apartments because y'all had mold, mildew, and y'all had unsafe living conditions. And a lot of Morgan State University students went there. A lot of Morgan State University students was getting sick because they lived. And then no, not Brandon. Bill Henry and his daddy. Bill Henry's daddy. All this ever. Bill Henry. Bill Henry know all about this. You feel me? Bill Henry know all about this. So with Bill Henry, Brandon Scott, Mary Platt Clark, Ricky Spector, I go a long way back with y'all. I go back with y'all since Throwback Thursdays. I've been dealing with Baltimore City 1997. I opened in 1997. I was in Baltimore's best, all right? And I cater for 85% of the richest people in the state. Throwback Thursday. A lot of Brandon Scott's for him running for city council. A lot of people that put money in his pocket, you investigate that money. Today they ran a story on him on Crime and Justice with Jeff Abel. Now Jeff Abel, Fox 4, Stephen Janis, Kai Jackson. I gave y'all information exposing Brandon Scott about 6 months ago. Brandon Scott, CA over on 33rd Street. Y'all put me out. Then y'all had a town hall on the Street, and I gave Kai Jackson information. Same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. We're gonna throw rocks today because I've been kicking rocks for long. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I'm throwing bricks. Brandon Scott, Nick Mosby, Marilyn Mosby came in together. Nick Mosby and Brandon Scott worked in conjunction with each other. Marilyn Mosby off of locking up Black Baltimore, and Marilyn Mosby, Throwback Thursday, bought a house over off North Avenue in Butcher Hill or whatever hill. They knew that property was going to be. They knew that it was coming to the community. They had insider information. Now that property is being redeveloped. And her kids to that school. Her kids go to Mount Washington, and her kids went to Mount Washington. You can ask Sean Stinnett. And then they went from Mount Washington to Roland Park. But she lives in Baltimore City. She's ain't even 2 blocks away from a new school over on North Avenue in Linden. Got a brand new school 3 blocks from my house. Her kids ain't going to that school. She want her kids to have that privilege. That's what it is. That's the schools. Brandon Scott the same way. You go to Brandon Scott's campaign office, everybody uses campaign office. That shows you the tracking the money. Brandon Scott used that office. Marilyn Mosby used that office. And that office that's their money. Whoever start following money washes itself and it leaves a paper trail. And I like money. I know where to look for it. Like I said, I'm from Chicago. I'm from Lake County, Illinois, not Chicago. I'm from Zion. I work in Chicago, but I live never shit where you. All right. Councilman, they made a click, and if you look at the votes and all the votes that they was doing, they gave them tiffs, Under Armour, tiffs to. They gave those tiffs to Under Armour, and they gave the tiffs to build Harbor East, and they gave the tiffs to Under Armour to build his complex. Brandon Scott been steering votes, been doing these votes for these people with money. And like I said, if the Department of Investigation, they'd have been shut Baltimore down, but they don't want to. They want to keep this because everybody eating off that plate. Brandon Scott eating off it for 9 years. Look how much money he done generated. Generating money. Look at Cheryl Glenn and her money. She got jammed up. But these career politicians, they want Brandon Scott in there for another 20 years because they got falling off. The ones that's been, they getting ready to retire, so they got to have Scott as a replacement. All right. Kiefer Burnett is a replacement. Kiefer Burnett is part of the O'Malley machine too. I want to make sure that you all of this. Kiefer Burnett, Bridges, Tony Bridges is part of Governor O'Malley's machine. Throwback Thursday. Tony Bridges was Governor O'Malley's community liaison back in 2008 when I started this. Tony Bridges was the community liaison. You can check Tony Bridges' emails from ddshortman at AOL.com. Tony Bridges ain't going to show you the emails. And Tony Bridges ain't going to show you those recorded conversations because I recorded conversations when I call the governor's office. I got recorded calls to Governor O'Malley. I got recorded calls to the FBI. I got a lot of people because this is going to be like Watergate. It's the shorty tapes. And we taping everything. Throwback Thursdays, Watergate. Individuals to steal to enhance the Republican Party. Well, those politics still exist now. Those politics exist now in the state of Maryland. They exist in the office of Scott Shellenberger. They exist in the office, and Brian Frost oversees it and protects it. Brian Frost used to be Senator Frost. So we're going to make sure that y'all see the whole big picture here. The Democrats, to protect themselves, they use the courts. Throwback Thursday. Ask Ed Norris. Ask Ed Norris to give up them tapes that I gave him. Because everything that I different individuals. I passed out over 3,000 videos. My brother in North Dakota got some of the videos. I got the videos in Chicago, New York, Philadelphia. I melt the videos because in the event of my death, 4 or 5 years from now, all these tapes will come up and my kids going to make sure that this shit happen. And we're going to tell a story about Baltimore. Truth speaking to power. I started this back in 2006. That's a long throwback. I started when Ted Marchibroda was coach for the Ravens. Thursdays. Throwback Thursdays. Ask Ray Lewis he got. Ray Lewis had a Rottweiler. His Rottweiler ran away. Ray Lewis lived up there where my store was at. Ray Lewis people came down there looking for that Rottweiler. I've been knowing people and who I do and don't know. Off of Ridge Road. Greenlee Road, I should say. Greenlee and Falls. Judge Janae lives at 11948 Falls. Judge Janae been a part of this from the beginning. Throwback. In 2000 and see. In June of 2000, and 2007, I got a speeding ticket. I was doing 75 and a 55 on 16. State troopers pulled me over. They were black state troopers, but 2 or 3 black state troopers, so they know me, been knowing me for years. I seen that same state Judge Bell's presentation at Church of the Redeemer. Right now, when I got that speeding ticket, the trooper knew that I'd been smoking marijuana and that I was drunk. He didn't give me a ticket. He just said, "Shorty, go home." My wife, she'll testify to that fact. She was shocked. Now, when I went to court, Judge Janae came in the courtroom and called Shorty. I get the transcripts from the case. State of Maryland versus. Got a docket number. Judge Janae passed that case over to another judge. That judge came in there and dropped the charges on me. That's when I knew the corruption and shit that exists here, the play politics. Throwback Thursday, Brandon Scott. I gave Brandon Scott all this when he was city councilman. Got email Scott since he was city year, or as long as he's been city council president. Had email. But Crime and Justice Fox 45 needs to pull up all his emails that I gave him and bring it to the forefront. How your politics and your politicians and how the machine works. You got to get replacements. That's what Brandon Scott, Marilyn Mosby, Nick Mosby are. They're replacements. You want to keep them in there for 20 years so you can keep your corruption and so you got to have that. Throwback Thursdays. Contact Middleton and Councilman Middleton. Contact Rob Fix for Throwback Thursdays, because Governor O'Malley approved this move in 2006. This how you grow corruption. You can contact Hassan Giordano. Hassan Giordano tell you how long he been knowing me since forever. He was Frank Conway's prodigy. He wanted to be clerk. The clerk of the court has a lot of power. Throwback Thursdays. Clerk of the court, Frank Conway. Frank Conway, keeper of the secrets here in Baltimore. If you go to Frank Conway's Facebook page, I own that Facebook page. Go to his Facebook page and see all the posts on that page. Frank Conway had full knowledge of this that was going on. Went to Frank Conway, the one that y'all see online, the one that you see on YouTube. I gave that to Frank Conway. Frank Conway destroyed the evidence for a $54 million lawsuit. Yeah. All this is on paper. It's in the courts. So when we throw back, we're going to throw way back. We're going to show the videos that Frank Conway had. We're going to show the evidence that Frank Conway had that he destroyed. Throwback Thursday. Contact Miss Cunning. She running for mayor. She was Frank Conway's secretary. She was there when I filed a complaint. She running for mayor. And she used to be Senator Van Hollen's secretary. Like I said, throwback. We're going to throw back and go way back. We're going to throw back. Y'all going to think I'm a RG3. Yeah. A little trust. Big trust. Old trust. Just trust us. You got 52 people that were involved in this corruption. Judge O'Malley, Judge Pearson, Bell, Judge Holland, Judge Sauter, Judge Janae. Yeah. Judge Papai. All participants. Throwback Thursday. I'm going to name you because I'm going to shame you. Martin Luther King gave me the idea of doing this when I started this in 2006. It was the campaign of public shame. And he shut shit down. He shut the garbage company down. He did in Alabama. That showed the power of black people. So I came up with the same idea here in Baltimore. Start shutting shit, shut it down. But the coronavirus, I can show you the videos on YouTube where I went to City Hall with all this information, where I went to the Department of Justice with all this, I went to the FBI with all this information, and nobody wants to. By the grace of God, I'm still alive, and I'm still here to tell my truth and share that knowledge. No weapons formed against me shall prosper. So we're going to make sure that Throwback Thursday continues. Throwback Thursday, we started this with MySpace. I went from MySpace to Facebook, from Facebook to Twitter, from Twitter to Instagram, Instagram to Facebook, and Gmail. Martin Luther King taught me about people, the power of people. I don't need 1 million people to march, because we're not going to march in 2020. But I need 1 million people to pay attention, and they pay attention to social media. That's the lick. I don't need 1 million people to pay attention. So I'm giving it to you on Anchor Broadcast, Anchor Pod, because I'm going to shame you into giving us America and making America great again. So I'm going to shame you to address your hate. I'm going to shame you on a daily basis. You feel me? So when you see me around town, when you see my, chime in. If you like it or not, at least give an opinion. Closed mouth don't get fed and it don't get heard. I'm fighting for human rights. I'm fighting for prisoners' rights and homelessness. I'm fighting for Keith Davis Jr. and 1,000 other individuals that have been wrongfully convicted by Marilyn Mosby, Scott Shellenberger, and Greg Bernstein. I'm here to bring a federal investigation onto their table. We got a grand jury in the office of the States Attorney. Under the 13th Amendment, you use that to incarcerate black Baltimore, black Maryland. The 13th Amendment is a real throwback. Goes way back. Doing these broadcasts, I'm doing it by myself. But in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be getting help from setting up a studio. When they relax this coronavirus restrictions, we're going to start doing it just like Hassan Giordano is. I'm going to have other people on my... I got the idea of podcasting from... Me and James MacArthur did a podcast in 2000-something on Thanksgiving. The day after we did the... up and charged him with some shit. Y'all had James MacArthur fucked up. But I didn't stop. Kept fighting for James MacArthur. We are throwback Baltimore block. We established the Baltimore block in 2012. It was about policing the police. Now, if you go to the Baltimore blocks page, we got a plethora of videos and information exposing the corruption and the racism in Baltimore City Police Department and Baltimore City Hall. We directly confront individuals. Throwback Thursdays. Leaders of a beautiful struggle. I don't know where you was in 2006, but I keep calling Davon Love Davon something, the other Davon. The other Davon was the Davon that Gov.O'Malley helped out with the boys of Barack. That was in 2006. Remember the boys from Barack? You had high school students that went over and Davon Love the other Davon, but them's the two Davons. Those are the two brothers that are about the same age. Hey, corruption don't work without black cooperation. Leaders of a beautiful struggle is financed by a whole lot of white people. And leaders of a beautiful struggle ain't never opened up their mouth to say, let's end the war on drugs and address corruption. Leaders of a beautiful struggle is a policy administration. And leaders of a beautiful struggle is Governor O'Malley's policies. First, they're going with making the community safe. They're not going with ending the war on drugs. They're not going with freeing the black community. They're not leaders of our community. And I done said it to their face. Adam Jackson know this. To give a presentation with leaders of a beautiful 2 years ago. Adam Jackson, and then we was over at your new... I had my presentation, everything. And then you smile in my face every day. But you don't smile no more when I holler mic check. You don't smile when we go down to Annapolis. I'm going to call y'all out like I call everybody else out. Throwback Thursday. Thursdays. Friday, Saturday. I've been going down to Annapolis. I've been leading the marches down in Annapolis for the last 4 or 5 years. I lead the marches in Annapolis. All right. Y'all hear me every time y'all go down to Annapolis. Y'all hear me when we had a march. But y'all don't never let me speak out. I don't need to speak out. I got my need to speak. I got tapes where I recorded calls to Governor Hogan's office. I'm going to start playing them tapes. Because I'm going to show you that Governor Hogan don't care about black people. Governor Hogan, the prison industry, unattended and unmanned. The coronavirus didn't come into the jails. I mean, it wasn't in the jails. The prison, the guards brought that in. The work brought that in. 1,500 people in one facility. What you gonna do about them 1,500 inmates? If they dying in nursing homes and they start dying in the prisons, that's Governor Hogan's fault. Because government facilities inside the prison industry a month ago. Hassan Giordano told him ago, I don't want no cookies. I want change. I want y'all to do y'all's jobs. I ain't doing these broadcasts because I want money or fame. I'm doing it because I want change. I'm not doing money or fame. I'm doing it because Martin would have did it. Malcolm would have did it. Medgar Evers would have did it. We ain't got no more Martins or Medgar Evers. Too many self-serving demagogues here in America. Jesse Jackson Jr. don't mean us no good. Jesse Jackson Jr., Jesse Jackson Sr., Throwback Thursdays. They've been running politics in Chicago forever, and not once have they said end the war on drugs. They've been in Chicago, and they killing in Chicago like every day behind the war on drugs. Y'all complaining about 300 murders a year here in Baltimore? Dog, in Chicago, it's more than that. And we ain't just shooting each other. The police a lot of these killings because the police is entrenched in this war on drugs. Throwback Thursday. Came in my house. Force went to jail in 2000. Throwback Thursdays. The gun task force was never charged with no murders in Baltimore City. Them white boys and them police officers committed murders in Baltimore City, but Mosby never charged them. They couldn't have ran a criminal enterprise for 10 years and not put no bodies in the dirt. All right? They've been robbing drug dealers forever. And they done killed some drug dealers. But they didn't get charged with no murders. Throwback Thursday. Hence, Marilyn Mosby. We got 3 more minutes on this recording. Friday is Fuck You Friday. Saturday is... I forgot what Saturday is. I got it everything. It's going to be a mellow day. But Fuck You Friday, dog, I got a list of people I'm going to say fuck you to. I got a list like Santa Claus got a list. And a list. Tune in tomorrow. Same black channel. This the Underground. In the Underground, Throwback Thursday. 97. I'm certified. Because I don't mind sharing. I just don't date none. Just how I am. So Hassan Giordano, Kelly Davis, about Keith Davis. Let's talk about the prison industry. Like I said, this ain't never personal. I've been fighting for the prisoners and prisoners' rights since 1986. I came to Baltimore. I my store to finance my activism. But you took my store from me, but my activism still goes on. I don't get paid to go to Annapolis. I'm an unpaid lobbyist. And I lobby for the black community. 2020 session got canceled. Y'all need to reopen the 2020 session in May, but y'all don't want to. But y'all need to. Y'all denying us our voices. Throwback Thursdays. See you tomorrow. It ain't fuck me, it's fuck you. Mic check.